I actually suck at this game. It's not even funny. 6.5 Abyss, fairly straightforward for the non-continuous clear, but for the continuous clear, it's a little bit, I had to grind a little bit more. So here we have Nilou Freeze, but instead of Mualani, we have Chongyun, and that's because of the Radiant Moongecko. And Chongyun here, in addition to providing that Radiant Moongecko clear, he's helping Battery, Furina, and Escoffier, and also he reduces the cooldown of your abilities if you cast them within his field, which can help for slightly smoother rotations, but in reality it's not that effective. And then also, he provides an attack speed boost if you're normal attacking within his field, which is helpful for Nilou. It just increases the DPS by a little bit, but this, the fight against the golems is very boring. It's just a DPS check basically, and they're not super aggressive. And the only way to save time is to get good grouping, but they're frozen, so it's difficult to get good grouping. It's kind of like that Wild Hunt fight in the 6.3 Abyss, only less stressful because these aren't Lunar Shill enemies, basically. Yeah, there's not much else to talk about in this team. I just have to try and get as fast in time as possible because it does get really close in the second one, just because it's Papilla enemies and you have to break the shield. And the team that I brought is not necessarily the best at clearing the shields, because it doesn't necessarily have that much elemental application. It's going to be Hexerei, Vape, Mualani, and the way we're going to break the shields is we are going to be using the Pyro Traveler. And so first we just do rotation, a normal rotation on these first two enemies. And this works because they have a smaller gauge bar, but the third one has a larger gauge bar, so you actually have to do more attacks and whatnot to clear the bar. And that's what makes this chamber really tight. And you're going to hear my reaction near the end of this clear. And so yeah, more of the same thing. Normal attacking on the Pyro Traveler because his normal attacks count as Night Soul attacks when you have the final constellation, and also they are Pyro infused, so that's really nice. And right here, I don't take him out in the first fight. I think it's because I didn't land the Pyro Traveler burst on him or whatever. I don't really know what happened there. But yeah, right here I have to throw the Sucrose Burst just to get some more elemental application, also to trigger a Pyro reaction so that the Traveler will refill his Night Soul bar. Anyways, he goes down, but I can't really do a Mualani rotation because I ran out of Pyro, right? So I have to go do another rotation with like 10 seconds left on the clock. It's absolutely insane. Went down to like the literal wire for this. Oh my goodness! It literally went down to the wire. Holy moly. And that was not a full bite even for Mualani. In the second chamber, we have to deal with the Wild Hunt, the Lunar Shill enemies. This was the chamber that took the longest to get the attempt for, to get the 3-star recording for. And it's just because the Lunar Shill enemies have a lot of health, and it took a bunch of resets to get enough time on the first half, or to take as little time on the first half, and then have enough time for the second half. Anyway, right here, the only really important thing is just knowing the rotations, knowing whether to go Chongyun first or go Furina first. So basically, if Furina has her burst, go Furina, but if she doesn't, then use Chongyun's skill to funnel into Furina. And sometimes I still use Chongyun before Furina just to funnel, like cast Furina's burst and then catch the particles from Chongyun. And the other attack here is that even after casting Chongyun's burst, you can cast his, or even after casting Chongyun's skill, you can cast his burst if Escoffier doesn't have her burst, because Chongyun's burst has 3 hits, and with enough crit rate, it pretty much guarantees a proc of the Felonious, and you can feed those particles into Escoffier. But other than that, the fight is really not interesting because it's just like hitting a giant punching bag, except that the punching bag has way too much health and the health bar is barely moving, and then somehow the punching bag keeps on regenerating health because that's a great mechanic. Yes, very enjoyable to play against. And these enemies, technically, they're kind of just Moon Sign Shill, which is like Nod Cry Shill. But if you think about it, the 4 stars from Nod Cry, they don't deal damage. I know Yehoda, Itlua, they don't deal damage. So realistically, you're going to need a 5-star from Nod Cry if you want to take these enemies out effectively. Anyways, 53 seconds left on the clock for the second half. It's going to be an Eremite and then the Magu Kinki. Right here, I skip Sucrose, go directly into Pyro Travelers so that he will start his cooldowns faster, and then I can have them in time or when the Magu Kenki spawns. And right here, this is a skill issue. I should have just waited for 3 stacks on the bite from Mualani. Anyways, while the Magu Kenki stands up, I do my rotation. If I didn't skip Sucrose, I would have still had cooldown on the Pyro Traveler. Right here, I think the Mona Burst popped, and then that's why I didn't have any Pyro, so I have to do this weird thing where, like, just try and pop his second phase, and then, yeah, set up my last rotation, and you're going to see here, get 1 bite in, and it seems like I can do it in the second bite, but you'll see my reaction. What on earth? Yes! No way, bro! No way, bro! What on earth was that? And for the final chamber, we have the Moongecko, and so we start off with Chongyun to break his shields, and there's not much to really say about this. I think he staggers me out of that hit right there, which is really frustrating, but it doesn't really matter too much. Anyways, he falls down, and I can't do anything, basically, because I have to wait for him to apply his debuff, and then I can use my Escoffier burst to heal everyone up. I can't even get the pets from Furina to attack him early, because that would drain my HP too much, and I actually started the Furina pets too early this time, which means that I have to switch on to Furina to heal her, like you just saw, and then I have to switch on to Nilou to hopefully heal her enough, and luckily I do, and then over here it's just the DPS window. But yeah, it's really frustrating using Furina against this boss because of that healing requirement. Like, you can't start your DPS window right when he falls, and that's when he's the weakest. That's the one you can deal the most amount of damage, I think. But I can't, because it would brick the, like, 2 other rotations that I have when he doesn't have his shield. Anyways, he goes back up. I'm not able to one-phase him, which is kind of frustrating. But I got him low enough health to where breaking a few of these shields will take him down, because breaking his shields will deal some damage to him. So I don't have to go through a second phase, which is really nice. And then the second half, we have the stupid, dumb, ugly, ignorant loser Papilla. And I'm stalling here, I forget why. But the Papilla really doesn't have that much health, which is really nice. It has this big shield at the start, and so of course I throw the Sucrose Burst, because that will give me more elemental application, and then also it helps with Pyro Traveler getting his Night Soul points up, because whenever you trigger a Pyro reaction, you get the Night Soul points up. And right here I do 2 bites. I could have gone for the third. You see, it still has Pyro, but I just cancel out of Mualani, so a bit of a misplay right there. And then after that, it's just standard Mualani rotations, going through everything. And yeah, I'm dealing a lot of damage, and he doesn't have that much health, which I definitely appreciate. And he's really aggressive, but it doesn't matter too much because I have Mona on Prototype Amber healing the entire team up, which is really nice. And then right here, I gamble. You're gonna see this soon. I gamble with the Mualani burst. I don't have the Obsidian effect, but it works out. I crit, and I'm able to defeat him. For the builds, it's just a lot of crit rate on Chongyun to trigger Favonius, and also I did not have C2 activated on Mona when I was doing the Abyss. I got that after doing the Abyss.